Courtrooms are supposed to be serious places. Suits, ties, rules, order. But every once in a while, someone decides the best legal strategy is violence. My name is Roger, and today we're looking at defendants who didn't just lose their case, they lost their minds. So get a load of Percy Phillips. He had been locked up for years without saying a word in court. Stone-faced, silent, almost meditative. But the day he finally opened his mouth, he didn't use it to defend himself. He threatened a police officer in front of the judge.
If we end up in trial, there is no way I can competently even frame a defense. I have asked Mr. Phillips, what do you want me to say or do at your trial? And he won't tell me. He literally, for years, has not said a word. Mr. Phillips has shared that he doesn't know exactly what he'll do in certain situations in the courtroom. He thinks he just may explode.
He threatened the police officer who testified against him.
Obviously, deputies didn't hesitate. They tased Percy on the spot, making him fall to the ground like timber. Years of silence broken in one moment, only to be ended by a shock. It's almost poetic. The one time you choose to speak, you get shocked back into silence. Shocking. And if you think a taser is the end of the drama, meet Lamont Payne. Payne had a history of inflicting pain, aka violence, behind bars, and trouble during confinement. Fitting. At his trial, his public defender Vladimir Gajic wasn't answering the way Payne wanted. Tensions rose and the judge warned him repeatedly.
Also, some may think that just because a
my
person...
lawyer ain't gonna speak up. It's plain and simple.
Sir?
You asked him a question just a minute ago about
Sir?
being biased.
Sir, you are
if I'm a convict, I want to testify by myself.
Part of the proceeding.
He won't speak up. I've been giving him questions. He won't speak up.
Sir, that's because it's not his turn to ask questions.
Man, he's gonna sell me out.
All right. The appropriate time will happen at the appropriate time. If you continue to have outbursts, I'm going to have to remove you from the
Now it's
courtroom.
appropriate time. I keep telling you, he's a problem.
Then Payne was being removed from the courtroom, and without warning,
Deputy, please remove him.
That's
he stood up and sucker punched Vladimir Gajic clean in the face. A bloody nose, a busted bridge of a face, and an attorney who, despite the damage, decided not to press charges.
I remember checking my teeth and then realizing they're all there. I can go for it. And I'm not going to press any charges.
Attacking your lawyer during sentencing is a bold legal tactic. A painfully bold and short-sighted tactic. Lamont Payne lived up to his name. But how does he compare to William Green, who's apparently more graceful in his approach? William Green in Broward County. Green had already shown violent behavior before his bond hearing, but while his public defender was occupied with another client, Green calmly walked up to her.
Provided copies of the reports. I would also know.
And before we continue, I want you to guess what he does next. A, he goes up to his attorney and proposes to her with a ring he snuck into the vicinity. B, he asks her for directions to the toilet where he'll then attempt to escape. Or finally, C, he approaches her to assess their current, realistic legal strategy and possible outcomes. You have 3 seconds. Go for it. Okay, time's up. And if you selected any of the above, then you'd be horribly wrong.
Provided copies of the reports. I would also know that provided.
What happened?
I knew.
What happened?
What just happened?
Because Mr. Green calmly walked up and punched Attorney Chase in the side of her head. No theatrics, just a sudden, casual act of violence in a courtroom. Officers tackled him. Additional battery charges followed, and the courtroom collective had to process the fact that someone had turned a legal proceeding into a physical assault mid-hearing.
It was just a bit of a shock. I didn't expect it, but I'm doing okay.
But that's not even scratching the surface. Because we all know what a man can do, a woman can do better. Hence, Melissa Hardwick. She wasn't subtle. At a domestic violence hearing in Kentucky, Judge Jennifer Edwards warned Melissa about contempt.
And are you asking the court to enter an order restraining the respondent from any contact with you?
Yes, sure.
As Melissa became increasingly disruptive. Warnings didn't work.
Things have been escalating, I guess, since the first of the year. Melissa's had a couple MIWs and a couple arrests, and she got out of jail in, I guess, April. And she started, we hadn't really had anything personal up until that point. She got out of jail in April.
Our personal life is
No.
business.
Melissa ignored orders and was arrested for contempt.
It has nothing to do with
Ms. Hardwick,
No.
you will be held in contempt of this court if you become disruptive.
Here.
You will serve 10 days for contempt of court.
And then, in an escalation that surprised everyone.
But before we continue, we can tell you enjoy this type of content, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Make sure to turn on notifications too, so you never miss a new video.
Go now.
Attempted to leap across the bench to get at the judge. Do you know how angry you have to be to even think about doing this, let alone attempting to do this? Nevertheless, deputies intercepted her mid-lunge and stopped her before she reached the bench. But the intent was clear.
You'll be back when it happens, Jennifer. Get my right for
She treated the courtroom like a stage.
A new judge will have to be appointed to represent because she will be charged criminally for the threats that were made in open court today.
And tried to turn the judge into the target. Attempts to physically reach the bench ended with her facing additional charges and a much longer stay than she probably expected. Melissa tried out for the Olympics in a courtroom and got rejected. But how does that compare to a sentencing in Michigan, where a defendant tried murder? Joshua Harding pulled something far more dangerous than a tantrum. Harding, already convicted of sexual assault, produced a shank during sentencing and attacked Assistant Prosecutor Jonathan Roth. Court officers intervened. Roth managed to grab the weapon. And Harding was charged with attempted murder on top of his original convictions.
Joshua Harding is facing assault and terrorism charges stemming from the August 2nd incident.
Bringing a weapon into court isn't a dramatic flourish. It's a guaranteed way to ensure more years behind bars. But then there's LaMarcus Williamson, whose reaction to a harsh sentence was immediate and violent. After receiving the maximum 15-year sentence for assault in South Carolina, Williamson smashed his cuffed hands into his public defender Dan Hall's face. Officers intervened. Hall was bloodied. And Williamson picked up extra charges and an additional 6 months on top of his long sentence. Comfort from your counsel does not deserve that kind of repayment. However, your lawyer also doesn't deserve to get knocked out, such as with David Chiselton in Cleveland. Chiselton, facing years for assault and arson, erupted at sentencing. He punched his lawyer, Aaron Brockler, then continued his assault and had to be controlled by deputies.
Hey, you calm? Hey, yeah, you calm? Yeah. You know you messed up, right? You understand that, right? Okay? Listen, when I uncuff you, put your hand behind your back. Do you understand? Yeah. Okay?
Brockler suffered a broken nose and a concussion.
What's going on? He assaulted his own attorney just right after he got sentenced to 45 years. So right now, assaulted me.
Chiselton was later subdued and taken away.
All I remember is waking up on the floor underneath the table. You know, it was just a busted nose and a concussion.
In courtroom terms, Chiselton's outburst ended in a knockout that made the rest of the room wince. An attempt at violent defiance that only guaranteed a harsher outcome. What do these moments teach us? Attacking your lawyer won't make charges disappear.